Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast. I am your host, Richie, here with my guys. Window 2, Mr. Idris Salam, a.k.a. Bosco from the Bronx. My man, Mike Zappi, San Antonio, Texas, Dallas Cowboys fan, and he and I...
Cowboy hater.
He and I are both... He and I are both really bothered by the fact that our two teams, with the storied histories that they have a combined home record of 0-6. Who the hell wrote that up coming into the season? We know that Daniel Jones dropped to 1-14 this past week in primetime games. Yet another reason for the Giant contingent to come to the realization that they got to move on, because were it not for poor quarterback play, this is a team that could potentially be 4-2 or even 5-1, as their defense has never given up more than 21 points this year. The 28-6 drubbing in Week 1 against Minnesota was actually partially Van Ginkel, who has picked off both MetLife quarterbacks this season, both AR8, and Danny Dimes, who also happens to wear number 8, not for long. Yeah, dude, not just picking them, taking them to the house. Van Ginkel is a special player, and Minnesota's having a special year. Big matchups galore this week. We've got the homecoming in MetLife Stadium, Saquon Barkley coming back. We know what the offseason led, and I think something that a lot of Giant fans didn't have cooked up is that you have wide receiver turned running back Tyrone Tracy being a hell of a fantasy pickup for many. And it kind of gives that spring of good hope that although we let the big name back sign with a division rival, we drafted very well at that position. And you kind of have Singletary, who's hurt, that will be coming back, and that could be, a split backfield. But Tracy's definitely the RB1 moving forward, I believe. You got a Green Bay Packer reunion in Pittsburgh. Devontae Adams, Alan Lazard, and Aaron Rodgers are all together again, this time wearing jet green. So that's a move of pure desperation when you look at the championship expectations versus the 2-4 record. You got Jerry Jones, who won ape shit on a local Texas station. That is it gave me the Steinbrenner vibes, like when George was kind of losing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no lie, dude. No lie. There's a lot to unpack, man. We got an interesting game with the Seahawks and the Falcons this week.
Yeah.
But we're gonna start it up with the less notables. These are only my predictions. I'm not speaking for my guys here. But Richie's picks, I've got the Jaguars early in the morning beating up on the New England Patriots by 8. That's going to be a doozy. The Bills 30-17 over the Titans on the road. I've got the Colts surviving the Dolphins by 3. Bengals by 2 scores over the Browns, a place that they haven't had a lot of success. 2 former LA teams, that one came back to LA, and then one went to Oakland, and then one went to Vegas. It's been a lot since Eazy-E made that hat so very cool. But I've got the Los Angeles Rams beating the former Los Angeles Raiders, the former Oakland Raiders, and the current Vegas Raiders. I unfortunately think that Antonio Pierce is going to be a casualty there. Washington Commanders, no fault of their own, but they are playing the Panthers. Thank you, dear. That's why it's in the non-notables, the less notables. I think the Panthers are going to show up. Chuba Hubbard's going to have a nice day on the ground. But the Commanders will wake up from overlooking a bad team. And I've got the Chargers by 7 over the Cardinals on Monday Night Football. Gentlemen, any of these particular games that you want to kind of give a little more focus to?
I mean, if there's one game I'm going to focus on, it's going to be the team that just came off of a victory versus your New York Giants, and that being the Bengals. Joe Burrow going to play Cleveland, who he's 1-5 against in his career. It doesn't matter who Cleveland has under center. For some reason, with that, when you go to that in-state rivalry, the Browns play Burrow very well, and that's a game that, the Bengals have 2 wins, could easily have more. Their defense has not been performing at a very high level at all this year.
Mm-hmm.
A game that they could easily let slip away, especially if they look past this depleted Cleveland Browns team. But remember, Cleveland is getting Nick Chubb back this week. So that I think is going to help boost their offense, where they're going to probably be focusing on running the ball more with Ford and Chubb and not let Deshaun Watson throw the ball 25, 30 times in the game. But I think
You never want that formula for winning. No.
Well, you never want that, especially not when Deshaun under center. But I think that if the Bengals aren't careful, I think they could come out of there losers. I'm taking the Bengals, but that's one of those games. I mean, we know Burrow does not play well against Cleveland.
Yeah, I agree. I think Cleveland. I think they'll run the ball with Ford and Chubb. We got to see what Chubb has because he's been gone for a whole year. It probably got knocked the rust off. And with Deshaun Watson, I just think he's shot, man. He's just not there. I looked at a stat where they said this season compared to Baker Mayfield, it's actually worse.
Yes.
And, yeah. So I'm going to go with Cincinnati. Got to play their game. The defense is not that strong, and Cleveland still has Myles Garrett, and that defense is pretty damn decent. They've been holding their own, but you can hold it, but so long. But I think I'm gonna go with Cincinnati. I'm gonna go 7 points. I'm gonna go 24-13. Yeah, Cleveland's in trouble, man. Yeah, they might win 2 more games the rest of the year.
The season ended today, Idris. They would actually have the number 1 pick in the upcoming NFL draft.
And that's what I was going to piggyback off of Idris when he's referring to back in back-to-back years. They took Baker Mayfield and Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
And their offense was historically bad. And this Cleveland Browns team through 6 weeks so far this year is worse than those 2 seasons combined.
Yep.
So, and this is while they had the likes of an Amari Cooper and as your number 1 receiver, Jerry Jeudy and Elijah Mitchell, and it's just one of those that at what point does Cleveland say, all right, enough is enough, we've got to bench Deshaun? Are they only paying him because his contract is fully guaranteed? Are they paying him because Kevin Stefanski
what a bad contract.
But is Kevin Stefanski under the you're going to play him because we're paying him type of thing, because he's on the hot seat as well, as sad as it is today, because he's a great head coach.
Yeah.
Kevin Stefanski had
bad quarterback.
Sorry, Idris.
No, you good. It's bad quarterback.
Very bad quarterback. And I mean, Baker Mayfield is laughing his ass off because Tampa reinvested in him. Tampa is looking at potentially another division title.
Mm-hmm.
You lose the GOAT Tom Brady, and you see what Baker's has done in his absence, and it's quite the thing. And I want to our loyal viewers that remember Mr. Zappi this time last year with his kind of cool Home Depot made Texas Rangers. He busted it out often last year. Right, I'm not on the creative end, but my boy Noah has one, as I do. We got my guy. I'm talking about Anakin Skywalker, aka Darth Vader. The evil empire is back, baby, and we are halfway to the World Series. I am really excited. Really excited. I know this is a football show. But I will say this, and I said it earlier today, the sting of possibly losing to Saquon will be dissipated with a Yankee victory that could potentially drive us into the World Series.
It's a good time, before we get into the talks of these games. I mean, I think it's going to be the Dodgers. Right now, they're winning 8-0 in the top of the 8th.
Yeah,
it's going to be the Dodgers-Yankees, unless if we see a complete meltdown by the Yankees, which I don't think we're going to see. Playing the AL Central has helped them out a lot. But, you talk about the Yankees and the New York Liberty, 1 game away from being champions. It's a good time to be in New York right now, not just as Giants fans, but the Jets fans. Now they're cheering about something again, as Tay is back with Aaron Rodgers, as everyone knew it was going to happen. It was just a matter of when it happened. After Monday night's fiasco between the Bills and Jets, both showing they needed receivers, they both woke up the next day and said, let's get some receivers. But just in the city of New York, in that general area, it's a good time right now.
I think,
and, even with the – go ahead. You first. You got it.
I think with the Jets, even picking up Devontae Adams, they're missing Robert Saleh, but that defense, man, Buffalo ran it right down their throat. with a rookie running back. He just had a day on that Jet
He
defense.
certainly had a day.
So we got to check that out. See how that goes.
But the Jets, in my opinion, Aaron Rodgers, yes, he did throw that pick at the end of the game where he was throwing it deep to Mike Williams. Mike Williams fell. But Greg the Leg did miss 2 critical kicks in that fourth quarter, which those 2 critical kicks did cause me to lose in our fantasy league because of that. But
back-to-back doinks at that.
Yeah, but I thought it was bittersweet to see the week after you got your head coach fired, you lose the game in the same fashion by throwing an interception at the end of the game.
Right.
And, but I will say this, it was good for them to address bringing in Devontae Adams, because if there's a difference between Aaron Rodgers today compared to Aaron Rodgers 3, 4, 5, 10 years ago, is he is playing within the pocket now. And when you're a quarterback that plays within the pocket, you need receivers that can separate right away. Garrett Wilson's really good at doing that, but Alan Lazard is not good at doing that. Mike Williams is not. One of the best receivers at doing that in the game today is still Devontae Adams. So now that you got 2 of the best receivers that can separate immediately from the line of scrimmage, it's only going to help benefit Aaron Rodgers, honestly. That's what I like about that trade.
And the funny thing is, Mike Williams got hurt again.
Yeah.
He got hurt
oddly enough, on the interception play. And, getting to Greg the Leg, what's pretty phenomenal, I don't know if that's the right word, but it's pretty terrible, actually, is that in back-to-back primetime games in MetLife Stadium, Joseph and Zerline miss critical kicks that could have changed the complexion of each game. And,
doink.
Man, oh, man. Yeah, and the swirling winds of the Meadowlands get that name well-deserved, because it is a very tough place to kick.
Yeah.
We're
going to talk about
some all the Jets and offer Brandon Aubrey for their first-round pick. I'll take it.
The Jets are throwing away draft picks like charity, so you might as well cash in right now.
Might as well.
Oh, my.
Doink.
We got reunion number 1 going down in the Big Easy as Sean Payton comes back. Denver, I almost said Denver Nuggets. I'm thinking about baskets. Denver Broncos 3-3, traveling to New Orleans to take on the Saints, who, unless if they are the 2011 Giants, will not overcome a 4-game losing streak. The only team to do that to win a Super Bowl. Spencer Rattler getting his second career start. First one was a mixed bag. I thought the kid showed some presence in the pocket. I thought he showed some toughness and some resolve. Baker Mayfield did throw 3 picks in this game, which also kept the Saints somewhat afloat for a little while. Right now, the Broncos have to bounce back because they were enjoying a 3-game winning streak. Most recently, they got a defeat against a division rival. But I quietly like what Sean Payton's building there, because I feel that every game that Bo Nix plays is every game that a lesson is going to be taught in the rookie year. He's getting invaluable experience. And there is a bit of a kind of like a cluster at the running back position for Denver, where you have 3 different guys that do 3 different things well. But and nobody does everything well, so to speak. But they are a tough-nosed team. And the Saints right now, I don't see them beating their former coach coming in. And ever since losing that game and kind of mouthing off with the Jalen Carter incident in the Philly game, they have just sputtered, completely sputtered. Derek Carr, once again, he's on the mend. No Bretsky. I don't really think he's improving after people bought into the facade of, oh, my God, he's going to be the MVP, and it's only September. Spencer Rattler era, it has started. I wish the young man well, but it's going to be a long day for him. I got the Denver Broncos winning this thing 26-20, and that's going to be a late New Orleans touchdown to make it a little more respectable. I think Denver's going to win the turnover battle 2-0.
You guys that?
Well, I was going to say one of the other key things to note about this game is Raheed Shaheed. He is going to be having meniscal surgery this week. We don't know if he's going to be out weeks or the remainder of the season, if it's going to
just
be a
trade him to the Jets. The hands of medicine are an amazing thing when you get over.
And they really are. Hey, you know what? I thought it was hilarious how at whatever time, 10:14, Jets are negotiating a trade with the Raiders, and at 10:27, Devontae Adams is on his way to New York.
Right.
And shortly after that, he's standing behind Aaron Rodgers on Pat McAfee's show. They knew this. I think
They
he was
knew.
in New York. He was in New York already. It's Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, but going back to this game, I look at this game. All right, Spencer Rattler, he got a rude awakening this past week playing the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
You know, they did fall behind 17-0, and they came back and had a phenomenal second quarter. Phenomenal, putting up 27 points in that second quarter, but still losing the game 51-27, was it?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think this is a kind of game that, you know, it's a battle of two rookie quarterbacks, and you're looking at two systems. Which system do you trust more? We've seen the Broncos go on the road twice, Tampa Bay and New York, and come up with some impressive victories with Bo Nix. And, you know, Spencer Rattler, I was never too big of a fan of his, being a Lincoln Riley kind of guy. But if you were to ask me between all the Lincoln Riley quarterbacks, I would have always said he was probably the better one.
Yeah.
But going into this game, I have a feeling that New Orleans is going to slow the game down drastically. And that's the kind of game Denver likes.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be behind the legs of Alvin Kamara. I think it's going to be behind the legs of Spencer Rattler, as well as his arm, that they're going to be able to sneak away with this one. I just have this really, really weird feeling that the Saints are going to win this game 20-17. I don't know why. You know, I'm supposed to pick the Broncos in this one, but I just think that Dennis Allen is going to have this team ready playing at home.
But the question is, will Greg Williams hand out any C notes to get a couple of extra hits in this one?
Hey. I'm going. When we saw what New Orleans did to Dallas the first week, like, oh my, this team is like boom, boom. But now we see how Dallas defense is. Maybe that was fool's gold. That big victory against Dallas. That was fool's gold.
They do miss Dan Quinn, regardless of how you cut it. They do miss Dan Quinn, but it's more than that over there. It's a culture thing that's going on in the wrong way for the Dallas Cowboys. I think that a coaching change is necessary.
But see, that's what I mean about New Orleans. That was fool's gold. Could not only see Dallas defense is not that good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I think New Orleans lived off of that. Yeah, we beat Dallas. We threw 40 on them. Da. We're this and that. That we come back with the next week. Yeah, we threw 40 more. Then they came back down to earth. You know. So I think I'm with Zappy on this. I'm going to go 21-17, New Orleans. I think Rattler. I like what I saw out of Rattler. Considers his first start. You know, got behind and he came back. Still made some mistakes, but he's a rookie. You know what I mean? He's a rookie. I just don't. I think Denver. Sean Payton coming back to New Orleans. Golly, man, he's going to hear it.
He's going to hear two versions. The pregame applaud.
Yeah.
Then when the game starts, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, the man is the only connection to their lone Super Bowl, and that was a couple of years removed from Katrina.
Right.
So that region definitely needed an uplift. And, you know, I remember the real world New Orleans, those kids were in town when the Super Bowl went down. So even though I'm not a Saints fan, I did kind of feel it, you know. I felt the energy.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think I'm going to go 21-17 New Orleans. I think they're going to hold fort, stop the losing streak. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, that's the way I feel about it, too. I just have
this. Fellas.
I think it's going to be a Kamara day. I think it's going to be a Kamara day.
But do the women in your lives still do the lip read thing and you just do the head nod and I can't speak for you guys, but I never know what the hell she's trying to tell me. And I just go, I give her like the
I mean,
she could have been an actress like in the Chaplin era.
Or Cleopatra, so be careful.
The solid era.
I mean, my team's owner is acting like a woman by going off on a broadcaster.
Yeah, pretty much.
And, you know, Jerry is a unisex name. Just saying.
It is, really is.
Hey, touche on that.
Yeah.
Just saying. And my uncle, never mind. I was going to get into a family discussion there that was moderately funny.
It is completed. Dodgers take game 3.
Yeah. Oh, they certainly did.
They took it all right.
Touchdown and a 2-pointer.
Yeah.
Reunion number 2. We've got Saquon Barkley talking about his return to East Rutherford, New Jersey. And do you know that this fool said, I don't think they're gonna boo me.
Okay. Keep
And
thinking
I'm
that.
saying to myself,
He's right. He's right. He's absolutely right. It's not going to be boos. There's going to be a bunch of dirty birds throwing at him. There's going to be a bunch of F words coming at him. There's going to be everything but boos.
He going, yep.
And if this was a couple of years ago, there would have been some free medium Pepsis coming at him.
Yeah, no, he gets the booze from his own fan base. It's going to be something else coming over in Jersey.
Yeah, he's gonna get it. I think with our defense is good. We got a good defense. It's our offense that can't do nothing.
Is he serious?
Yeah.
Really, bro? You don't think you're gonna get booed?
He's gonna get booed.
You're gonna get booed?
He's gonna hear it. If he don't think he's gonna hear it, he's delusional.
Absolutely.
I think we might have ourselves a silent Greg Williams 2.0 from your owner, Mr. Mara, where he's going to say, "Hey, either one of you guys take him out. I'm going to slide you $1 million, but in a different way."
It might be something under the table from Dorney's lookalike who happens to be coaching our team, because I got news for you. Their asses are on the hot seat.
Yeah.
If the Giant football team doesn't finish strong as the game goes, this is what I'm worried about.
Mm-hmm.
If we are missing Burns or Dexy, or at least one of them, Dexy is the most important guy. You're already down Andrew Thomas. I spoke to Zappy off air. Jermaine Illuminor moving to the left doesn't scare me. No. He has not given up a sack this year. He's very adaptable. One of the reasons why Carmen Burchillo was an advocate for bringing him into New York.
Yeah.
Having worked with him. Van Rotten will be fine. JMS will be fine. Runyon Jr. will be fine.
Yeah.
I am very, very concerned about the prospect of Evan Neal entering this game. And the only victory in it is that I'm thankful that Neal is not going to be playing on the left side.
Yeah.
But the God's honest truth is, this is a game, and it goes without saying, and you look at the history of the NFL, when superstar face of the franchise guys make their return to their old place in the very first meeting, Brett Favre did Green Bay. Joe Montana did Frisco.
Yep.
And I must admit that the dude that used to wear Orleans Darquoise number with the Giants is probably going to have a pretty good game. But what I think the difference in the game is that Daniel Jones has to be able to sustain these drives. When I saw some of the horrific passes in that Cincinnati game, a defense that is not that good, first and foremost, and Ocho and Unk really went into detail on how poorly Jones's progressions were in this particular game. And it's frustrating because when you're coming off the game against Seattle, who actually has a better defense than the Bengals, you expect a little more. I don't know if it's something between the ears that this dude just can't play at home. I truly do not know what it is, but it's frustrating on a grand level. As the game goes, the Eagles are a more talented football team, unfortunately, right now. Yeah. And even though the Eagles did not impress me much, barely squeaking by the Cleveland Browns, it would take a mammoth effort where the Giants have to get Jalen Hurts on his ass, get him dirtied up. And I just don't necessarily think that's going to happen if we're missing Burns, Dexy, or more. The Andrew Thomas loss is going to hurt as well. It goes without saying he's our best offensive lineman. Give me the Eagles 27. Give me the Giants 20. And I got the Eagles scoring once on defense. If not scoring once on defense, a critical turnover that will set them up for some points. But I do think the Giants will keep it close because I don't really think the Eagles are that much better than the Giants. And I don't think anybody in this division is that much better than anybody.
Yeah, I still want to take the Giants 24-21. It depends on what we got on defense. Dexy.
It depends how many times we score on defense.
Yeah. I think we'll get to Jalen Hurts. Yeah, I think we'll get to Jalen Hurts a couple of times. Because I think our defense is decent. It actually depends on who we're missing this week. The offensive line, we're missing Andrew Thomas and he's pretty much gone for the season. It's a shame because that O-line was playing real well this year.
It's disappointing. Like I said off air, this team could easily be 4-2 or 5-1, but with the incompetent quarterback play, we are where we are, 2-4.
That's the problem. And if he has a bad game, you got to sit him.
It's getting to that point. It's getting to that point where, you're not respecting the effort that your defense is doing. The Giants lead the NFL in sacks this year.
Red zone defense.
We're losing close games. We're competing. But, there's no silver medals and attaboys for not finishing football games. And, the Eagles are a better team at finishing than the Giants are, no matter how you cut it.
If we just had an average offense, just average play out of Jones, we'd be doing okay. Just because I look at that 4th and 3 play we had last week.
Oh,
we had
Lord.
2 receivers wide open.
Yes.
Wide open. And you throw it right there in the
no look away.
Didn't even look away.
Don't get me wrong. It was still a good play on the defense's part.
Yeah.
But it wasn't your highest percentage throw.
It wasn't. We had someone right in the flat. We had someone pretty much wide open.
And then Andrew Thomas.
Yeah.
Andrew Thomas gets hit with the illegal man downfield.
Yeah.
On what would have been a massive gain from Darius Slayton. And that's just been the story of the Giants season. Similar to the Dallas game, they had Tracy on that big over-the-top throw from Jones, one of the few long balls he hit in that game, and then it gets called back. That has been the story of the Giant offense. It's like the little train that just couldn't. The little train that just couldn't.
Shooting ourselves in the foot, man. So I'm going to go 24-20 Giants reluctantly. That's it, man. If Jones stinks it up this time, we got to sit him, man.
The problem is that at least DeVito gives you some excitement.
Yeah.
I don't want to see Drew Lock in there, but when you're giving Drew Lock what he's making as a backup, it's going to be Drew Lock next man up.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. That's it for me. I don't even want to talk about them.
Oh, I do. I want to talk about this game a lot.
Oh, Lord.
Here, I'll start it with this. You're coming off of a bye week, playing one of the worst defenses in the NFL, or worst teams in the NFL.
Good, yeah.
And you managed to put up 20 points in a game you should have lost, but thankfully you were playing Deshaun Watson. And then you have the nerve to turn around and jaw at your own fan base. This is the kind of game that, I mean, if I was Howie Roseman, if I was Jeffrey Lurie, and I saw what Nick Sirianni was doing, I mean, his seat is already hot. In my opinion, that lit it hotter. You go into this game, this reminds me of 2015 when Dallas had to travel to Philadelphia to play DeMarco Murray. And DeMarco Murray was expected to go off for a big game. I think he only ran for like 7 yards that game.
Yeah, he didn't get much.
And this is the kind of game I look at Philadelphia going to New York, where I think it's going to come down to coaching. And I think Kellen Moore and Sirianni are going to outcoach themselves. And that's just the way I feel about this game. And that's
your mouth to God's ears. I want this game happy.
I wanted to see Philly come out last week and put up 34, 37 points.
That's what I expected, dude.
And they didn't. They looked flat. And you can use the excuses, injuries, this and that. Those players would have played the week before as well. So that's what people need to understand. You had 2 weeks to prepare for the Cleveland Browns, and you almost choked that game away.
Yep.
Almost. Now you're going into New York to play a team that has actually been playing very good football throughout the year. They just have not been able to finish games. I'm going to go with the Giants. I have this feeling that they are going to come out extra poised to make sure that Saquon Barkley is not the reason why you guys lose this game. If you guys lose this game, it's going to be behind the legs, not the arm, the legs of Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
If Jalen Hurts runs the ball 14, 15 times, I don't think you guys have a chance.
I agree.
But if Jalen Hurts has to throw the ball 35 times, if Saquon Barkley is going to get shut down, give me the Giants to win this game. Give me Nick Sirianni to be on a hotter seat. Give me this Eagles team to have more questions to answer. Call me crazy all you want. 23-20, New York Giants.
I love that man. I love that man in window 3. All right, Zappy. Thank you for giving me that little.
You said we'll just call Zappy?
23-20. Almost
okay,
like
I had 24-20.
That's the thing with these Giants that get me so damn frustrated. I feel like Silvio in The Sopranos. Yeah, every time they break your heart, every time they friggin' disgust you, they play a facade for 3 hours, mess with your brain, and they pull you back in.
You know what's crazy is the Giants could win this game and go 3-14 the rest of the season. But that game this week, welcoming back Saquon Barkley, would mean more to that organization, to the fan base,
Yes, it
to
would.
everything than going 7-10. In my honest opinion, I think that game has more for the Giants to get crazy about. I mean, I don't want to say it's your Super Bowl of the year, but
It's game of the year.
Well, from a morale standpoint, beating those guys keeps you kind of lurking in a very winnable, mediocre division also. And that's another thing to think about.
Absolutely. Because right now, when you look at the NFL, the NFC North has the opportunity to get all 4 teams in. Will they?
Yes,
probably
they do.
Not. They probably won't, though, because the NFC South is going to get 2 in. NFC West is going to get 1 in. NFC East is going to probably get 1 in.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
When you look at this division looks a lot like 2020, where it's probably going to be 9-10 wins max that's going to win the division.
Yep.
And believe me, it wasn't even that good that year. The Washington Commanders behind Alex Smith getting comeback player of the year were only 7-9, and we already know the story.
Yeah,
we spoke to our friend. We spoke to our friend of the show, who I made laugh off air, and I was like, "Listen, dude, just tell me the truth. Why was Sudafed in there?" I call that dude Sudafed because he put us to sleep on national television. We're moving it along to Lambeau Field. Papa's Packers hosting the Houston Texans, the 5-1 Houston Texans, 4-2 Green Bay Packers, and as Zappy stated, that's a damn good North division because 4-2 only gets you 3rd place right now. The Packers are coming off a solid win against Arizona. The only guy who really shined for Arizona was Trey McBride. Fantasy value, but the Packers were never truly in trouble. Marvin Harrison Jr., we're going to find out if he's playing this week for Monday. Joe Mixon came back. A lot of people were afraid to start him in their fantasy leagues. He went off on Brett's Patriots. He really, really went off. The matchup that I'm looking forward to is seeing Stephon Diggs and Jair Alexander go at it. 2 of the best talkers in the league.
Yeah.
That's the matchup I want to see. I'm looking forward to that. The Packers have struggled against premier running backs this year. We saw what Aaron Jones did to them. We saw what Saquon Barkley did to them. Oddly enough, those are 2 games that they lost this year. The only 2 games they lost. I'm not pinning that on just 2 players. There were other variables. But I reluctantly like the Texans in a close one here. I want the Packers to take that next step and make me believe that they are a top 3 team in the conference for sure. I'm not sure if they're there just yet. I think this is going to be a high-scoring affair, but I think in crunch time, Jordan Love makes the mistake that C.J. Stroud does not, and I think Joe Mixon is going to go for $1 and change. I got the Texans winning this thing 30-27. Green Bay is the type of team that could put up points in bunches, but some of their untimely turnovers with Jordan Love still concern me. I got the road team for the moderate upset.
I hadn't been too impressed with Houston this year. They beat the Patriots, but you're supposed to beat the Patriots. Jordan Love, his interceptions are not interceptions where you say, okay, the defender jumped the route. His interceptions have been bad. It's
that one that John went to in L.A., that bizarre one when he was halfway on his back. I'm like, dude, you're not Patty Mahomes.
Yeah, he just threw those. Like, dude, you should have took the sack. Just take the sack.
Yeah.
Just take the sack. I think Josh Jacobs will have a pretty decent day. I do think Joe Mixon is going to do his thing again. I think X-Man's going to get another pick because he's seems like he's picking off a pass every week.
His hands have become a football magnet. He's kind of got that magic that Deron Bland had last year.
Yeah, he's like picking pick a game. So I think he got 2 the last game. But I'm going to go with Green Bay at home.
Okay.
I hadn't been that impressed with Houston this year. I really haven't been.
If this game was a little bit later in the year, I'd feel better about Green Bay. I just got a funny feeling they're gonna get off to a slow start, and then they're gonna play the catch up. Like they almost came back on Mini a couple of weeks ago. They could have won that game.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go Green Bay 27-20. Yeah, I'm gonna go 27-20. I think it'll be close, but I think Green Bay will win. Will score late. I think it'll be more like ground and pound late in the game.
All right.
Yeah, I'm right there with Idris. Look, I haven't been too impressed with Houston this year. Let's put it this way: I've been more impressed with Green Bay and their 2 losses than I have been in Houston's 5 wins.
Yeah.
I'll put it to you that way. This in the NFC North, to me, it's between 2 teams. It's not Minnesota. It's Detroit and Green Bay. Yeah, this is how close the division is. Where we know Minnesota's playing Detroit this week. We'll talk about that one right now. But in 2 weeks, Minnesota could easily lose the next 2 games and fall down to 4th place. Just
Isn't
like
that crazy?
It's insane. But when I look at this Green Bay team, you look at that game, the second game where Jordan Love had to rally him back to get him back into the game. But if he didn't miss the 2 weeks before, I think they could have easily beat Minnesota. There's that variable to consider. Week 1, I thought they beat the Eagles.
Oh, I thought they had to.
They beat them, but
settling for those early field goals definitely hurt.
Yeah, they beat themselves, man.
Yeah, they beat themselves, exactly.
Yeah.
I am impressed with this Green Bay team. I think this Green Bay team, I mean, when you're willing to suspend one of your top receivers a game and you have other guys still show up, they have a lot of weapons on that offense, whether it's Tucker Kraft at tight end or the various receivers they have, or Jacobs or Lloyd, whoever it is. Now I'm going to flip it over to Houston. Houston, CJ Stroud, he's having himself a good year. Stephon Diggs has been all right. Nico Collins still leads the league in receiving, even though he missed the last game. He's going to be back this week.
You boys have convinced me. Green Bay is going to win this game the more I think about it.
But what I like more, for me, it comes down to the defenses, and I like Green Bay's defense just a little more.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I think this is going to be a shootout. I think this is going to be an up and down type of game. I think we're going to see a lot of big plays from the quarterbacks, from receivers. But at the end of the day, I think this Green Bay Packer team is going to come out on top. They will be 1 game behind first place, 33-30, Green Bay at home. Oh, that is probably going to be game of the week.
Give me the Packers 34-27 after you 2 guys actually convinced me.
Let's go 30-27. I'm going to go up a little bit.
All right. We're all in favor of Green Bay after my guys convinced me. Possibly game of the week material here. Huge NFC North showdown. 4-1 Lions traveling to 5-0 Minnesota. The Vikings are back after the bye week and hope to have running back Aaron Jones back. They did pick up Cam Akers, but I see him as just a Band-Aid for a week or 2. Cam Akers, well-traveled.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, his best is behind him.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought he had a golden opportunity with the LA Rams, and then our man from Notre took that over. The winner of the showdown will have the lead in this division all to themselves in the sense of a tiebreaker metric. I know that the Lions lost Aiden last week. I know that it sucks. This is a road game. But the thing is, when it comes to these kind of teams that play indoors, I don't think the advantage of road is that much of a big to-do. I got the Minnesota Vikings catching their first L of the season. I think from an emotional standpoint, I think the Lions really want to stick it to their division rival and honor their fallen teammate who's not going to be back until possibly the Super Bowl, should they make it that far. I think Dan Campbell is going to rally his guys and go out there and win a big game on the road, similar to what you guys considered to be a shootout in Lambeau. I'm expecting much of the same here. The difference is I actually think that Sam Darnold, who has been playing terrific football, is going to make a couple of uncharacteristic mistakes. I think Jared Goff is going to have a really terrific completion percentage and quarterback rating. And I also love what the Detroit Lions have, not only in their receiving room, but when you have that dual threat of Monty and Gibbs, it's a beautiful thing for a quarterback like a Jared Goff. and it just makes the game slow down. It makes everything a little more manageable and easier for them. Dan Campbell, the dude coming off this and really wanted to stick it to Dallas. I think last year, like that game really annoyed his ass. I got the Lions.
Partially because I think Ben Johnson was auditioning to be our next head coach.
I mean, that's also – there are definitely quite a few names that Jerry is going to have to comb through with his son. I like the Lions, and I like the Lions by 10 here. I'm going Lions 37, Vikings 27, and for 2 consecutive weeks, the Lions are going to have very impressive wins away from the Motor City.
I got to go against that. I think the loss of Hutchinson, I think it's going to be major. I think they'll attack that side because they don't have to worry about him being over there. I think Sam Darnold will continue because they're coming off a bye week, man. I'm just going to go Minnesota. I think the combination of Monty and Gibbs, I think they will get theirs because that's a hell of a duo, man. They both can pound you and run the ball. I mean, godly. But I'm going to go Minnesota. Man, this might be a shootout too. I'm gonna go 33-30 Minnesota.
All right.
What we have with this game is 2 of the not so good passing defenses and 2 of the best rushing defenses. And we have a Minnesota team that allows only 15 points a game. Detroit allows 18 points a game. This is one of those games that is almost a pick 'em. You can't go wrong with it. I think it's going to come down to who makes the less mistakes in this one. And not only that, I really think that loss of Aiden Hutchinson is going to hurt them not only in the locker room, but like Idris said, they don't have anyone else right now that can get pressure on the quarterback. I would feel a lot more comfortable picking Detroit to win this game if they had Aiden Hutchinson sitting up. Can Justin Houston really come out there
or if they bring in Robert Forche and give him some rejuvenance? There's Regeneron.
I think this has the making of, look, Detroit is coming off of a major high. And anytime you come off of a major high like that, it usually results into something bad the following week. Did Detroit show too much? That they put too much into last week where it just doesn't carry over to this week? Minnesota coming off that bye week, they're only getting healthier. Oh, man, I love this game. I did say the previous one's going to be game of the week. I stand by it. I think this is going to be a good game too, but I actually think it's not going to be as high scoring. I'm going to take Minnesota. I was going to take Detroit. But I talked myself out of it. I'm going to take Minnesota to win a lower scoring game, 24-20, and to take commanding control of the division.
Yeah.
But is that enough for Detroit? No. I think it's just going to go prove to them that they need to go out and trade for a Max Crosby, Myles Garrett if he becomes available. They need to go out and get themselves another defensive end, which I'd already been saying. They need to get a defensive end that was with Hutchinson in the lineup. Now you really need to get yourself a defensive end.
Better get Aaron Donald out of retirement.
Oh, that would be interesting. And that would be very, very interesting. I'm going to take a quick walk out, but before I do, Seattle at Atlanta, short, plain, and simple. I think this game is going to have a couple of turnovers in the sense that Geno and Kirk are going to throw too many passes each, because I think that early on they're going to get frustrated that each front is actually showing up the running game. I think that Seattle is going to show some pride in this game after getting run over by the G-men and the 49ers in that metric. Overall, I do like the Falcons to win this game, mainly because I think Kirk Cousins might throw 2 picks in this game and still win the game. Give me Atlanta 27, Seattle 23. No, you know what? Give me Atlanta 27, Seattle 26. And for the second time in 3 weeks, we're going to have a Jason Myers late field goal blocked as the Giants special teams becomes the next level example of how to beat the Seattle Seahawks. I'm just kidding. 27-23. That's not going to happen. But Younghoe Koo is one of the better kickers in this league, and I just like what Atlanta's doing. I think Tampa's going to win the division, but I think Atlanta is learning how to finish some of these games, and I think Michael Penix sitting down looking at Kirk Cousins could be getting the call sooner than later. They didn't draft that kid that early to have him sit for 3 years. I'm
going with Atlanta, man. I think Kirk Cousins, Captain Kirk, is going to do what he does. I think Algiers and Robinson. I think they're going to run all over Seattle. That's just my opinion. I think Seattle has a good front, but I see what Tracy did, and now you got two guys. You got two guys who are bruisers. I think they'll make Geno. I think Geno have 2 turnovers. But damn, I'm going to go Atlanta 28. Now I'm going to go Atlanta 30, Seattle 21. I think Geno those two interceptions. Yeah. BJ, I think Robinson will get BJ. Bijan, I think he'll get 90. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah, man. It's when I look at the Seattle team, I thought the first 3 weeks they had overachieved.
Yeah.
And now they're playing the kind of football I thought they would be playing this year. And then when I look at Atlanta, I think they are for real. I was high on Atlanta before the season started. Mm-hmm. And I still think they're going to be the team that wins this division.
Yeah.
I like the fact that, Tyler Algier finally had himself a pretty decent showing last week. They have 2 more than capable running backs, and they have a quarterback. They finally have a quarterback.
Yeah.
And when I look at Seattle, they gave up over 200 yards rushing to San Francisco at home last week.
Right.
And,
and it wasn't CMC.
And it wasn't CMC. And then you talk about the Giants, how you guys were able to go into Seattle and run the ball against them. Detroit, I know Detroit didn't have as well of a rushing game against them, but they didn't have to. They were throwing the ball.
They were throwing it, yeah.
I trust Atlanta a lot more, man. I look at this game as Bijan could very easily have himself 150 yards on the ground.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins could very easily have himself 350 yards passing. It really is choose your poison. And if I'm Arthur Smith, I'm going to go into this game and say, what are you going to give me? Are you going to focus on stopping the run, or are you going to focus on stopping the pass? Because if you're going to focus on stopping the run, then Kirk Cousins is going to go off. Him and Drake London and Darnell Mooney are going to have themselves a great
goodness.
Game. Yeah. And if you focus on stopping the passing game, then Bijan and Tyler Algier are going to rush for over 200 yards together.
Easily.
And not to mention, I look at Atlanta. When I look at the 2 defenses, I like Seattle's defense. I like, what's his name, Witherspoon or whatever.
Yeah.
I like some of the key pieces, but when I look at Atlanta's defense and I look at the pieces they added with Matthew Judon, Justin Simmons, and also already having AJ Terrell there, and they're playing, in my opinion, they're playing much better football today. Again, 3-0 to start, 3-3 now. The Falcons, they were 1-2, now they're 4-2.
4-2, yep.
Falcons look like a legitimate contender in the NFC right now. Where Seattle, I think they're going to still finish in 3rd place in this division, possibly 4th. If the Rams are going to get healthy here soon. But no, I'm with you, Idris. I think, Atlanta being at home, you see how much fun that crowd is having.
Man, look
at Kirk Cousins dancing on the sidelines with the crowd.
Yeah,
it has the feeling of a special season for this Atlanta Falcons team. With that being said, give me Atlanta to win this game and win this game pretty big. 37-2. I think DK is going to have himself a good game. I'm going to go 37-23. I think Atlanta's going to win by 2 touchdowns. I think this Atlanta team, as every week passes, they are just getting stronger and stronger. They fell behind early against Carolina, and they came out and still put up almost 40 on them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what they came out and still put up almost 40 on them. Hey, turn your thing down, man. I wish I could mute him. I can't mute him. All right, there we go. I think with Michael Penix Jr., the only way I see him getting on the field is if Cousins gets hurt or
A big
Kirk
lead.
just totally self-destruct. And Kirk Cousins is not going to self-destruct. He has to get hurt for Michael Penix to get on the field. I don't think Penix get on the field. I just don't think so. He might get on like later on the season if if Atlanta's not in the playoff race or something like that.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't see him getting on the field this year.
They're going to be in that division till the end. I mean, like I said, I still think they're going to win it. And as far as Michael Penix goes, I don't think he was drafted to be. Well, yes, he was drafted number 8, but it's clear that he was drafted to be the quarterback in 3 years.
Yeah,
as opposed to now, because you don't pay somebody $160 million and say, "Hey, we're going to move on from you after this year or this year."
No.
Kirk has been balling. He has been balling, and the 2 losses that Atlanta has are not Kirk's fault either. So that that's Kirk has already made me eat my words twice this year with his primetime games and his primetime record. And both primetime games this year, he has shown up. So I look at this Atlanta team as, like I said, they are for real. They are a contender. They could very easily be, I'm going to say it again, they could very easily be the number 2 or even the number 1 seed, because the NFC North is going to beat up on themselves.
Yeah.
The NFC West and East is not going to have a 12-game winner.
No.
Atlanta, I think, is going to be a 12-game, possibly 13-game winner. And you look at the North, can Detroit, Minnesota, Green Bay, or Chicago win 12 games when they have to play each other twice?
Right.
I don't think so.
Right.
It's very possible that Atlanta is going to be our 1 or 2. Well, they'll be a top 2 seed in my eyes. But they could very well be the number 1 seed in the NFC this year because they have an easier road there.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins, man. I mean, like I say, he's not the type of quarterback where he's going to make those mistakes where you have to put him on the bench. He's just not that type of quarterback.
In January into February, that's going to be interesting. We'll see, because to Zappy's point, he has kind of won against some of the preconceived notions that the guy's not a big game quarterback.
But let me ask you, those losses he has, did they lose because of him or because the defense couldn't hold up?
Oh, no question. It's on the defense. No question.
That's why I think he gets a lot of negative.
I'm going to give him a hard time again in the Steelers, but let's be real, dude. The Steelers have a great defense.
Yeah.
And it was their first game.
The first game of the year, which I don't think they played their starters very much in preseason. I said week 4, that's when the season starts.
Yeah.
And their other loss was against the 2-time defending Super Bowl champs, and they lost by 5.
They still,
put up a very controversial non-call.
Very.
It was
that was bad. That was bad.
You look at this team since that loss.
They've been balling.
Their last 3 games have been division opponents. But
and
those are always the ones you have to win first, is your division games.
Well, when your 2 losses are out of the conference, you got to feel good about that. To your point, easier road, and they have the good conference record.
And you know what makes Kirk Cousins so good? The way his person, everyone knows he's that good guy in the NFL. It's hard to hate that guy.
Absolutely.
And the way he vibes with that team on the airplane, in the locker room. I mean, golly, man, they love this dude.
and then the last point I'll make about Atlanta, another reason why I think they're going to win this week is guess where they're going next week?
Oh yeah,
they gotta make a nice little travel to Tampa Bay.
Yes, sir.
For game 2, so you can't go to Tampa Bay losing this week. You just can't. So I think they're going to win. They play Tampa Bay, then they got Dallas at home the following week. They're going to drop 50 on us. So yeah.
Oh Lord.
It's crazy. I had Dallas win a division, man. I had them going 12-5.
I got the Eagles still winning our division. They are the shiniest toy out of 4 imperfect ones. We got the San Francisco 49ers hosting the team that ended their Super Bowl dreams last year, the Kansas City Chiefs, one of 2 remaining undefeated in the NFL. Niners are at 500. And after some disappointing defeats, the Niners are looking to start a winning streak. Start a losing streak. Did I really write that? Sorry, Shed. I promise I'm not trolling. Oh, man. I'll tell you the truth. the Chiefs are going to be even more dangerous when Pacheco's healthy and when they pair him with Kareem Hunt. The addition of Kareem Hunt, just terrific. Steve Spagnuolo schematically just keeps out coaching coordinator after coordinator that goes against him on the other side of the ball on the offense. Patrick Mahomes' stat line is interesting. 6 picks versus 6 touchdowns doesn't look like from that metric it's impressive. But the thing is that a lot of Mahomes' turnovers have not really hurt the team because of the fact that the defense is so friggin' good. This is a team that's missing Hollywood Brown. They're missing others, but they keep finding ways to win. As the 49ers go, this could be the kind of game where they're going to put every ounce of everything into it as a small measure of revenge to get a little bit back off a team that they've lost to in 2 Super Bowls in the last, 5 years? 2 different Super Bowls, 2 different quarterbacks starting for them.
Yep.
I think the 49ers are going to put up a respectful showing. I think it's going to be close, but I think the Chiefs win it late. Give me the Chiefs 27 to the 49ers 24, and I got the Chiefs winning the turnover battle 2-1. I'm going to call a fumble. Give me a fumble from Brandon Ayuk.
You mean the guy who held out for that contract?
That dude. Yeah, it's gonna be an end around. It's gonna be something stupid. Ayuk's gonna put one on the carpet, and I got Brock Purdy making throwing a critical interception late. Chris Jones is gonna have a day. It's gonna be close though. The 49ers are gonna hang around, but the Chiefs are gonna win and continue to remind everybody why they've won 3 of these in a row.
I'm going against it. I never go against Patrick Mahomes. The only time I did was in the Super Bowl, but I'm going against him this time. I think the Chiefs has benefited, and I'll say it, and I've never hated against the Chiefs, but I think they've benefited with a lot of bad calls.
Oh, no question.
I think they've gotten away with a lot of stuff.
And when you are the champions, you do tend to get more calls.
Yeah, but a lot of those calls is like really, 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 really bad.
Yeah, they're bothersome.
Really bad. Sure. You know, I mean, like obvious bad. Like, okay, wait a minute. You know, but I'm going with Frisco, man. I think it's gonna be a low scoring game. I'm gonna go 27-24 Frisco. I think KC lose their first one. I think they'll pick off. Mahomes once. I will go with Ayuk. Ayuk hasn't shown me that he deserved that contract he got.
I can't believe they paid him. I still can't.
I don't. He hasn't earned it. He just hasn't earned it. You know, you got Debo out, you got CMC out, you got a hurt team, and you don't step up to the plate to say, okay, this is why y'all paid me X amount of money. In fact, you look worse this year than you did last year. You don't even look like last year's player.
And, with CMC, potentially, they're keeping it hush. CMC might miss the whole freaking year with that Achilles situation. It's pretty crazy. It's the Madden curse.
Both sides at that. That's the thing. It's both,
Yeah, the Madden curse lives on. Zappy, before we move it along to Sunday Night Football and the Great Packer Reunion, is there any shade that you want to show to Mr. Mahomes' backup, who as a child grew up as a 49er fan?
Well, I will say, winning the Super Bowl back in 2017, that must have sucked to watch Mr. Nick Foles win it for you guys while you carried your team. No, look, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say the most important thing, actually 2 important things about the Kansas City Chiefs. 1, Andy Reid. I repeat, Andy Reid is 21-4 in his career as a head coach coming off of a bye week.
That's 21-4.
Secondly, last year, Rashee Rice, before the bye week, was an okay receiver. He, from a fantasy perspective, he was averaging, I think, 9 to 10 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
After the bye week, he turned into one of the top tier fantasy receivers, averaging 17 to 20.
Wait a minute.
Well, Rice is gone. You know that, right? Rice is gone.
No. But my point is about Xavier Worthy.
Oh yeah.
Hold on.
That kid right there. Yeah.
Before we move it any further on that about Rice, I thought that he left the league and was gearing up with Idris's cousin Brad Daugherty to get into stock car racing. Is there any validity to this? Do we have a family source?
I have no clue.
Only if it happens in Dallas is what I heard.
Freedom, baby.
But no, this is one of those games. Look, the San Francisco 49ers last week on Thursday night, they at times looked they did win the game 36-24, I believe it was.
Yeah.
But you're still missing CMC. Mason is hurt. He's playing, but he's hurt.
That's something to keep an eye on.
And when I look at this game, when you give Andy Reid 2 weeks, when you give a defensive coordinator 2 weeks to prepare for the Super Bowl rematch, I said I will not bet against Mahomes. I'm still not going to bet against Mahomes, and I'm definitely not betting against a 21-4 record of a 840 winning percentage coming off a bye week. That's absolutely insane. The best in NFL history. Right now, the 49ers team, you're in first place, 3-3, tied with Seattle. But right now, I think it's going to be a situation where we're going to see two teams 3-4 tied for first place. Give me Kansas City to go in there. Give me Kansas City. And you guys talk about the calls. They're going to get the calls all year.
Oh, yeah, you know that.
That's the one thing. Whether there is a script, whether there's not, they're going to keep getting the calls.
Dynasties get calls. Let's be real.
Yeah,
Take it back to the 90s when the Dallas Cowboys were a dynasty. They got the benefit of more calls than most. The New England Patriots. Yes.
So I think it's going to be. Look, I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. I'm looking at Xavier Worthy being the X factor in this game, where they're going to be giving him the ball on end arounds, as well as I think he's going to get himself a wide receiver screen or two. But he's going
to be a star.
Yeah, he's going to be a star. Give me Kansas City. Kansas City to win this game 23-17. And could the 49ers be looking ahead to next week hosting Dallas? I hope not, but it's one of those games I don't see Kansas City winning the next 2 weeks, but I don't think they're going to lose next week. I think
if the Niners lose this game and then lose to Dallas, they have lost all their mojo. But here's a friggin' thought of oddity. You know how Patrick Mahomes, it seems like once a year, gets dinged up for a series of 2?
Yeah.
How hilarious would it be? And I don't wish injury on no one, but just saying hypothetically, if Mahomes got a little dinged and he had to get checked out, and Mr. Wentz comes in and sticks it to Shed's team, that would be the funniest breakdown.
That would be wild. That would be wild.
That
would be wild.
That'd be pretty bad.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty bad.
But last thing on the Chiefs, there's, in my opinion, only 5 teams that match up the right way with them, and only 3 of them, I think, on a given Sunday would be able to beat them, that being in the playoffs or the Super Bowl. The Baltimore Ravens, from a talent-based standpoint, can play with the Kansas City Chiefs. They almost beat them early in the year to give that as an AFC threat. We know that the Bengals in previous years have been able to hang with them, but this particular Bengals team doesn't strike me as such. Pittsburgh doesn't have the offense, so cross them off.
No.
The New York Jets, believe it or not, if their offense starts clicking from a talent-based standpoint, can hang with the Chiefs. Now, in the NFC, there's only 2 teams, only 2 that I think could truly have a realistic chance of beating these guys in the Super Bowl. It is, believe it or not, the Atlanta Falcons, and the other team that matches up the right way with them is actually the Green Bay Packers. Will we see either one of those teams in the bowl? That remains to be seen. But I do think that those 2 teams in the NFC match up the best with the potential three-peat winners as the Chiefs continue to chase that astounding, record-based place where they will be all by themselves in NFL lore. Sunday Night Football. The former Packers reunite in the Burgh. We got the New York Jets at 2-4, traveling to Pittsburgh, taking on the 4-2 Steelers. The Steelers are still a work in progress on offense, but hold a tie for first in the North because they have a competent quarterback, or 2 of them. They are tied with the Ravens. After firing their head coach and losing a game on national TV, the Jets welcomed Davante Adams. Idris made some excellent points, as did Zappy earlier in the show, as to why Davante will be such a great pickup for these New York Jets. This gives me the kind of vibes of a game that's going to be very low scoring. It might even look similar to what we saw with Denver and the Jets a couple of weeks ago. I think this game's going to be in the high teens to the early 20s. But similar to how we saw Dak Prescott lead the Cowboys down the field and steal one from the guys in the black and gold, I think you're going to see the 4-time league MVP do something very similar. And he hooks up with his man, Davante, for the game-winning score, securing a 4-point victory for the Packers, 24-20. I got did I just say the fucking Packers? For the Jets.
It is the Packers. You got what? Nathaniel Hackett, Alan Lazard.
Basically.
Come on, Devontae Adams. Come on now. It is the Packers.
The Jet Packers.
It's crazy. My father, if he was still alive, would be going berserk with this right now.
The Jet Packers, man.
And I wonder, this all was spawned when Brett Favre first went there. But, Rodgers had to take it a step further.
I just want to know if Brett ordered his Devontae Adams number 17 New York Jets jersey yet.
Oh, God. I like the Jets for the road victory because the thing is, the Pittsburgh Steelers, while they might not have the quarterback that they need, that will limit them from winning a Super Bowl. And while I think the Baltimore Ravens are a legitimate threat to these Chiefs. No, you're good. You're good.
What? I was playing Madden while watching the game. I scored 99 points. I just had to kick the field goal, but time ran out. They wouldn't let me kick the field goal.
You played Brett?
No, I picked off 4 passes. 2 went for pick sixes. 1 was a 160-yard pick six.
All right, Jesus. So you gotta take it off of rookie mode first.
I'm on expert. I don't play rookie mode. I play Madden. And I drop my little stats down and I raise up the stats on the 99 points.
I'm gonna have to get you on. I'm gonna have to get you on the PlayStation one night, Mr. Zappy. Your thoughts on this reunion of sorts in the Steel City?
This is a must-win.
Absolutely,
absolute must-win for the New York Jets. You are on yet again national television.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. National television. We saw what happened in front of the millions of viewers across America, the tens of thousands of people that were present at the New York Jets game,
and the millions and millions.
Look, Pittsburgh, if they do go with Russell Wilson, I'm going to be very disappointed in them.
Yeah,
because Fields has 10 touchdowns and 1 interception this year. He's doing exactly what you need to do to win games. He didn't lose that game against Dallas. The defense lost that game.
I'm going to tell you why Fields loses this game, because he's going to think he's playing the Packers.
That would be well. Russell's supposed to get the start this week.
That's
but Fields is still close enough to the field. Russ has had a mixed bag of success against those Packers.
He has, but what's his success against the gangrene? I think
better than Lieutenant Dan. Go ahead.
No better. I think New York is going to go into Pittsburgh and come away victorious. A low-scoring game. I don't think Devontae is going to show up and blow up for 12 catches, 150 yards, and 2 touchdowns, anything like that. I think he's going to come up. He's going to probably have himself 4 to 6 catches.
I got him 5 for 52.
Yeah, it's something like that. It's not going to be.
But he's going to have the big 8-yard touchdown in the end zone.
I think this is the kind of game where, look, if Dallas was able to run the ball against Pittsburgh, I think Braylon Allen, Breece Hall, I think they're going to be the ones that are going to have the big games in this game. Give me the Jets to win this game, a hard-fought game, 20-17. Same score Dallas won, 20-17. I think the Jets win it. The Jets need this game more than Pittsburgh does. If the Jets lose this game, drop to 2-5 after trading away future draft capital, then you might as well end the season now.
And this could, while the Jets do need the game more, it could be vital for Pittsburgh to win because Baltimore does play on Monday and can jump into sole possession of first place. Before we move it along to the final game that we're covering, quick question in reference to the Jets here. Hassan Reddick has not signed yet. He's been sitting out. He's under contract. He hasn't gotten more money. And Mike Williams recently injured yet again and probably drops to 4 on the importance chart. 3 on the depth, but 4 on the importance chart. Because, of course, Lazard is Rodgers' boy. If you're the New York Jets, do you strike some more deals and move these 2 veteran players before the deadline?
I didn't understand why they went after Mike Williams in the first place.
I think it was because they didn't think that it was going to get this bad.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Mike Williams, I think, was a signing because of who he was and not what he was going to be. Mike Williams, remember, he was a great receiver coming out of Clemson, drafted number 7, I believe, by the Chargers. So, in the first round, it's not like
you could get one of those at picks. You could get one of those at pick 7.
Only on Tuesdays.
You know what you could get for a pick for pick 6. Isn't it more ironic now that it was pick 6? Continue, Mr. Zappy. I'll stop with my passive aggression.
Here's the interesting thing, because we talked about Detroit and how they need to get themselves another edge rusher, and this is the perfect team to do it. Now, the only thing is, Philadelphia has an agreement with the Jets that if they trade Hassan Reddick to an NFC team, they don't no longer get a fourth round pick. They get a second round pick. So there's that caveat to it. But when I look at, if you can bundle the 2 of them, Detroit makes perfect sense, actually, because I think Detroit needs a receiver to allow Amon-Ra to go back into the slot. And they already have good receivers, so why not get yourself Mike Williams, a guy that could be your over-the-middle kind of guy, and then you also bring in Hassan Reddick that can definitely help out that defense in 8.
So you're saying send them both because of the Super Bowl aspirations?
Yes, I think if they're going to get a deal done, it's going to be sending the 2 of them.
But Philly will benefit. But Philly does benefit if this.
Philly benefits in the offseason with the draft pick.
Yeah, with the draft pick.
But if they're going to trade, I mean, who in the AFC are you going to trade Hassan Reddick to? The reason why I thought they would have traded Hassan Reddick to the Raiders when they made that deal, they didn't.
Well, maybe Woody Johnson's dumbass trades him to the Seahawks and says that he forgot that they were in the NFC.
Yeah,
that's possibly. A possibility. No, I think when I look at the New York Jets, I think that there is a marriage made with Detroit and New York that you send both of them to the Jets, and it gives more justification for the Jets to give that second round pick up, or
the only other guy that I could get moved would be if Cleveland's ready to do a full blow up, and maybe Garrett's the guy that goes to Detroit.
I don't think his contract allows him to be honest with you. It's going to be Zadarius Smith before it's Myles.
Zadarius Smith is also in Cleveland. That's correct. That is correct, Zappy.
I do not. I'd have to look at the contract breakdown, but I don't think Myles Garrett contract allows them to move away from him quite yet. I think they have to wait.
Well, what if they sell the rights to Barry Sanders, who's still under contract?
Hey,
they would. You got to make sure Herman Moore is included.
Right.
Oh, thank you, sir. Scott Mitchell might be a better quarterback.
Well, Herman Moore got traded to.
Than Deshaun Watson is right now. Herman Moore was that dude.
Yeah.
All right.
But Calvin Johnson might come out of retirement. He's still He's still
on the contract.
Detroit. Yeah. So if there's ever a time to do it,
got to trade these.
No, what I would like, that's honestly the way I look at it with the New York Jets is I think this is going to be a package deal. They're going to get traded. You don't go and sign Drew Rosenhaus to be your agent.
Nah.
After all this shit to only re-sign with the New York Jets. He's going to get dealt. And I think when you bring a guy like Drew Rosenhaus in, a deal to an NFC team is more likely to happen. But
the rich keep getting richer, man. Philly makes out like a fucking bandit again.
All right. Well, hey, I will say, as much as I laugh at Nick Sirianni, I don't laugh at Howie Roseman because that guy.
No, Howie Roseman don't mess around. But I'm praying that they go the route with Cleveland and Zadarius goes back to the NFC North as opposed to Philly getting richer with capital. We'll see. Monday Night Football, it's going to be very important for both these teams that are in first place positions or approaching them. Baltimore Ravens 4-2, Tampa Bay Bucks 4-2. Bucks are coming off a huge win. Quarterback Baker Mayfield putting up MVP caliber first half of the season. I love what Bucky Irving has done as a leaper and a climber in this offense. It's good to see Chris Godwin healthy. Mike Evans is doing more than just doing his standard 1,000-yard year. This looks more like a career kind of year for Evans when he is all the way locked in. You still have some holdovers from that Super Bowl team. I think Tampa is quietly a very complete team in this NFC South. As the Ravens go, after I was having some fun with friend of the show, Chris Dixon, about them being winless to start, King Henry has really asserted himself and reminding people why the Baltimore Ravens won out and got him. Yeah. The unsung hero in this game is a guy that maybe has a blow-up game once every 4 to 6 weeks, but I have a feeling that Rashad Bateman is going to go off, and he might be the difference in this game. This game does have the makings to potentially be a shootout, even though both these defenses are capable of keeping teams down into the mid-tier 20s. Give me the Ravens 37. Give me the Buccaneers 29. 8-point victory for the Ravens. Bad Baker comes out and makes a couple of costly mistakes, because let's remember, there was some carelessness in that New Orleans game. He still did throw 3 picks. I think the Ravens are going to win by 8, and I think the Ravens are going to be in first place going into Week 8 as the Pittsburgh Steelers fall a peg back and the Baltimore Ravens continue to gain some traction.
I'm going to go 35-21 Ravens, man. I think King Henry's going to get his. I think Lamar's going to do what he does. I could see both combining for 150 on the ground. I say Lamar gets 275 in the air. Baker throws a couple of picks. 35-21 Ravens.
I'm just going to spit it out the way I see it. Tampa Bay's got one of the worst defenses in the NFL, but that's been shadowed by the simple fact that they have a great offense.
Yes.
But Baltimore has quietly become one of the best teams in the NFL as they finally got that chemistry down together with the addition of Derrick Henry. Tampa Bay lost the team. The Eagles losing, that's what's good. Anyways, Tampa Bay, they're a team that lost at home to Denver. Now and then they lost another game. It was obviously on the road in Atlanta, but it seems like the big games they've had to play they haven't actually showed up for. That's why I say I like Atlanta more in this division. Now you're welcoming in Baltimore, who between Justice Hill, Derrick Henry, you talk about Isaiah Likely, Mark Andrews finally he's got traction on his feet. You have Rashad Bateman, you have Zay Flowers. They have a lot going in the right way. Everything is slowly coming together for Baltimore.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay, their offense again is good. This game, to me, I think Baltimore is going to jump out to an early lead. But what they've been notorious for dating back to last year is their fourth quarters holding on to leads. And when can they keep that lead? Can Lamar Jackson close this game out? I say he does. I think this is going to be a very entertaining game. I think this could actually be game of the week as well. But I think Baltimore just has too much firepower. Give me Baltimore 38-27. I think they're just too much for this Tampa Bay team.
Yeah. All right, Richie.
Mr. Nunez, you are here. Yes, it's a football show. Congratulations on your victory. We are getting closer and closer to a Dodgers-Yankees World Series.
Yeah.
And I got to say it's exciting, guys. This is something that's been brewing for the last couple of years where I really believed that it was going to happen. But Mr. Nunez, in case you weren't here just a bit ago, this is for you, pal. Zappy had his mighty tea, and I've got Mr. Darth Vader here. Yes, sir. The Empire is back, Mr. Nunez, and we are not afraid of the team with the biggest budget that spends more money on 2 Japanese players than most countries spend on wars. Yanks are coming, Nunez. The Yanks are coming.
Yes. Can't stand the Dodgers. Can't stand the Dodgers. The Brooklyn Dodgers are freaking.
Wait, Nunez is a Dodger fan?
Yeah.
He's based in Cali.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to get a refresher why he's not a Niner or a Charger or a Raider or a Ram.
If my memory serves me right, I think it's a family going back to his father, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But correct me, Daniel, if I'm not sure. Either way, you're gonna get us in MetLife, so it's okay, buddy. We'll just get you on the diamond, and it's all even.
No, we're
And
gonna
yes,
beat
it
him.
was.
We're gonna beat him in MetLife. 24-20. We're gonna beat him.
Hey, 23-20. Nunez,
Gonna beat him.
you guys are going to fire Sirianni in the next couple of weeks.
Yep.
You should not be jawing at your own fan base when you win a game. Lose a game, okay, you can become Jerry Jones and jaw at the media, jaw whoever you want. But Nunez, I'm sorry, man. Your Eagles have not one bit stood out to me. I didn't think they were going to. Should have lost week 1. You got lucky. Got lucky to beat the Saints. Like the
Should have lost
Browns
last week against the Browns. Yeah.
There has been not one point that the Eagles say we are one of the top tier teams in the NFL. Here, I'll put it to you this on the NFC. The top 4 teams in the NFC are all in the NFC North.
Oh, Jesus.
Of the 4 teams that play the Browns, the
Dude,
Eagles
yes,
are the ones that struggle the most with them.
Yeah.
Dude, yes, it might take us 2 weeks the way our offense is moving to score 24 points.
Dallas stuff Cleveland. Washington stuff Cleveland. Go ahead.
For Mr. Sappy and for Mr. Idris Salam, I am your host, Richie, and Nunez. This is what you have awaiting for you. We are not afraid. I cannot wait. And I'm not penciling it in yet. The Mets have a lot of heart and have showed a lot of resilience all year, but I must admit that if you got pounded down with football-like scores 2 of the 3 games, if the Mets were to come back, it would be something comparable to like the Mazeroski Pirates beating the Yankees back in '60. That's how powerful this Dodger team is right now.
Yeah, they won 4-3.
Until next time, we are out. Announcements to come for our next show, but I'm going to tip you off and give you a little bit of a hint. It's probably going to be a baseball show. Right. Richard Dorney, I have penciled in for the World Series preview in the event that this is a Subway Series, but unfortunately, after what I witnessed tonight, I think Cinderella, it's about to hit midnight. For the boys.
Dodgers just have to win one more. Mets, you need to go up 3-2. It's not going to happen, but
yeah. No, the sad truth is the Dodgers are just a little too powerful. So baseball show to come soon, and we might hit you with a something similar to what Casual Convo does. We might hit you with just a full stream, just shooting the shit show, something that I really enjoy about what the peeps at Casual Convo do, and you can definitely check them out on Hand Radio. You can see Idris as well as Coco. Make it also a point to check out the Basement Show with Mr. Nast. Mr. Nast is going to be traveling to Philadelphia to see them play the Bengals. So definitely keep an eye out for him. He can be found on all social media outlets as well. For the boys, we are out for now.
New York Liberty, baby.
No Cowboys gear for me the rest of the year.